Hello everyone, KingScat24 here. Welcome back to another video, and welcome to a review on Injustice 2, the NetherRealm DC fighting game from 2017 that I ignored for 4 years because I'm a brain-dead moron. To start off, I am a sucker for DC games. I was even a huge fan of the first Injustice, so I just had to get my hands on this one. There's going to be a lot covered in this video, so I'll try to make this as quick as possible. So with that said, enjoy the video. To start off, let's talk about the story. The story is kind of enjoyable. I really like it. Not only do we get to see some returning characters from Gods Among Us, but we also get to see some new characters that NetherRealm decided to make room for. And while the story can get kind of confusing at times, I still enjoy it nonetheless. But I'm just going to get this out of the way. To me, the story in Injustice 2 is basically, hey, I want to do this thing. Well, I don't want to do this thing. Let's just beat the snot out of each other until we finally come to our senses. My one complaint with the story, though, is the fact that half of the fights that I've seen aren't even related to the plot at all. Some of them are just random fights that are just conflicts between characters that have nothing to do with the story whatsoever. So, in my opinion, some of those fights are kind of pointless. One of the things that I like about the story is the fact that any character, well, every character really, has a motive as to why they're doing what they're doing. Deadshot, for example, the only reason he's doing some of the bad stuff in the game and the reason why he's become a villain again is because Grodd has an explosive chip in his head, and one wrong move, he's gone. Another example of character motive is Flash and Green Lantern. In the first Injustice, Gods Among Us, they were a part of a group of baddies called the Regime that basically was just evil, essentially. However, by the time Injustice 2 rolled around, they realized their mistakes and they wanted a second shot at being a hero. However, their shot at redemption wasn't easy. They had to earn it. Aquaman? Well, he only cares about Atlantis. He doesn't really care about anything else. Harley Quinn is another character looking for redemption because in Gods Among Us, she was sided with Joker at one point, but then she finally came to her senses and now she's siding with Batman and Canary and Green Arrow. And on the topic of Joker, I want to go over something about the character roster, which I will get to in a second. Please don't ask me why Joker is a part of this character roster. I personally don't understand it. I mean, yeah, he made an appearance, once in the game, and that was during Chapter 2 with Harley Quinn, but other than that, I don't really see the point in adding him. Speaking of character roster, let's talk about that. I love the character roster for Injustice 2. It has so much variety, it's not even funny. Not only do we get returning characters like Bane and Harley Quinn, but we also get room for new characters like Blue Beetle, Deadshot, and for some reason, Scarecrow. There are also a lot of DLC characters that they decided to add for whatever reason, but my philosophy is they didn't really have any importance to the story, so I'm really not going to cover them. However, I do have a problem with the roster, and it's the fact that you don't unlock Brainiac at the first go. He's not a character you can use immediately. You can either unlock him for $6 if you're impatient, or you can complete the story and get him through there, although personally, I prefer to get him through the story. Another thing I love about Injustice 2 is the combat. The combat is so much fun, and while it's hard to master, especially with some characters, Deadshot, it's still, I enjoy it a lot. Going back to the story, there is a lot of characters that they were good and then they just died, just full-on died. I'm not going to say who dies because I'm not a conceited jerk and I'm not going to spoil the story for you, so if you really want to know the whole thing, either play the games or read the comic books, nerd. There is one death, I say in quotations, that isn't really worth trying to hide because it's not really much of a spoiler because the person that died didn't really have any involvement. And that death belongs to this poor inmate. Yeah. You know how Batman's one rule is that they don't kill? Yeah, Robin kind of broke that rule, and too bad Damian wasn't made aware of this rule before he slit that exact inmate's throat. Yeah, but hey, I guess in Damian's eye, rules are like curfews in wind, meant to be broken. There's another thing that I love about Injustice 2, which I'm just going to cover really quickly, and it's the customization. The customization in Injustice 2 is super rad. There's so much you can do with your characters. I love it. Here's a few that are my personal favorites that I've recently done, and I'm gonna be honest here, I wouldn't change it for the world. Unless, of course, I got some better gear. My personal favorite is this one I like to call Desert Ops Batman, who just looks like he's wearing desert camo and it just looks super, super cool. Another cool thing about Injustice 2 is the Mother Box system, which basically allows you to get some of this really rad gear by opening them. Although, my personal view on it is, I kind of compare this Mother Box system to like CSGO crates or Rainbow Six Siege alpha packs, but you know, I still like it. But anyway, I think that's going to do it for this video, and that's it for Injustice 2. I definitely love this game. I'm probably going to post some more of it on my channel, because why not? But if you guys want to see more talking videos like this one, let me know in the comment section down below. Tell me what you want to see next, because I have little to no ideas. But anyway, I'm out of here. Peace.